About 40 years ago, 2 theology students came to one of my creation lectures. Afterwards, they asked me to come and lecture to their theological department at a well-known university. There were people from just about every department of the university in the audience, but from the theology department, there were only the 2 students who'd invited me. They'd made an announcement about the lecture, but the lecturing staff told the students not to attend. "We must accept what the scientists say," said the theologians. "If we oppose the scientists, we'll be looked down upon as ignorant fools." How sad. Men with the truth of God in their hands, choosing to believe the wisdom of man instead. G.C. Berkouwer was just about the only theologian of the last century who took a stand for the inerrancy of Scripture. But halfway through his career he said, "But the Scriptures cannot be inerrant, because they teach an earth-centered universe, which science has shown to be untenable." For almost half a century, Bertrand Russell's Science and Religion was paramount in guaranteeing no Christian apologetic. No defense of the Bible was taken seriously. The authority of the 10 Commandments rests on the authority of the Bible, which can only be maintained intact if the Bible is accepted as a whole. When the Bible seems to say that the earth does not move, we must adhere to this statement in spite of the arguments of Galileo. This is perfectly true, but why on earth should we place the arguments of a fallible man like Galileo above the infallible authority of the Scriptures? Fortunately, a science teacher, a Christian called Walter van der Kamp, took it upon himself to find out what proof there is that the earth is not central in creation, as the Bible so clearly states. He discovered there was no such proof to be found. Professor James Hansen and Jerry Bow picked up on van der Kamp's work. They found that the evidence was much stronger for the centrality of the earth than for the contrary. Sad to say, the theologians of the world were so convinced that the scientists of the world knew better that they took it upon themselves to save the Christian community from ridicule by claiming not only that these men were wrong, but that the Bible does not present a stationary and central earth anyway. James B. Jordan, for example, wrote a widely accepted authoritative article, The Geocentricity Question, in which he asks, "Does the Bible clearly and unmistakably teach a geocentric universe or a fixed earth?" This he completely denies and says instead, "The Bible unquestionably and inerrantly teaches that the earth is flat and square." By this, does he mean he really believes the earth is flat and square? No, he believes the stories of the secular astronomers. He's only making a case for why he doesn't need to take the Bible literally, even when the context is obviously literal. The Bible uses figures of speech like the 4 corners of the earth. Therefore, anything he doesn't want to believe can simply be treated as if it were a figure of speech. Gary North was equally eager to save theologians like himself from appearing foolish in the eyes of the world. But although he promoted and even reprinted Jordan's denial of geocentricity, he wasn't really happy with Jordan's method of denying the fact that the Bible is geocentric. It appears he's not quite so liberal in his theology as Jordan, and accept some things as true, which Jordan gets out of by his figure of speech ploy. So North, in Geocentricity, Geostationism, and the Flat Earth Temptation, takes the stand that science has proved that geocentricity cannot be true, therefore there must be some other interpretation for geocentric scriptures. North, a theologian, not a scientist or mathematician, takes it upon himself to claim that a central, stationary Earth cannot be true because geostationary satellites would fall out of the sky. Realizing his lack of qualification to make such claims, he hired an astrophysicist, Dr. M. Nieto, to back him up. Well, as we'll see next time, geostationary satellites would not fall out of the sky. But there's another question which Jordan brought up and which North seems disinclined to face. Jordan claims the geocentricity question is theologically a curiosity at best. It has nothing to do with Christian theology or essential worldview. This, of course, is utter nonsense. Historically, we find that as soon as geocentricity was discarded, the view that the Earth was just a planet, one among several others, led to the perfectly reasonable conclusion that life must exist elsewhere. Giordano Bruno, for example, one of the first to accept Copernicus's idea, soon convinced himself that there must be vast numbers of inhabited worlds in the universe. This immediately raises the theological question. If God created intelligent beings elsewhere, did they also fall into sin? If so, did Christ have to die for them? Has he been crucified multiple times on multiple planets? Teilhard de Chardin pointed to another theological problem. In earlier times, until Galileo, there was perfect compatibility between historical representation of the fall and dogma of universal redemption. So long as people believed, as St. Paul himself did, in 1 week of creation and a past of 6,000 years, so long as people thought the stars were satellites of the Earth, there was no difficulty in believing a single man could have ruined everything, and that another man had saved everything. The denial that the Earth was the centre of the universe was the first demonstration that the Bible was not inerrant. It was the reason for Galileo claiming that, in matters concerning the natural sciences, Holy Writ must occupy the last place, whereas up to that point in time, it had taken the first place in everything. No wonder the atheists cling to it so doggedly. As J.F. Henry noted, the possibility that we have a special place in the universe is depressing to the humanist and is to be absolutely avoided. And, as Bertrand Russell gleefully pointed out above, there is no way of maintaining the authority of the Bible without it. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and press the bell so that you'll be notified as I release new movies. If you'd like to support this project, you're welcome to do so through Patreon. Find a link on my channel banner and in the description below.